American Family Radio Network, Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia, 866-300-9298, 866-300-9298 if you want to weigh in. Folks, I hope that you are registered for the Cove. I just got an email from someone yesterday that was excited. They registered. They're going to be at the Cove, and I'm looking forward to meeting them. I love it that there's going to be, I hope, so many of the listeners here to Financial Issues there. Governor Mike Huckabee is going to be there speaking one of the nights. He's going to stay overnight. He's going to be there, so he'll be around to socialize and take some pictures and answer some questions. So that's exciting, certainly more exciting than my speaking or anybody else for that matter. But the important part is we are going to be spending some time in God's Word, and I hope in a way that'll bless you. And you and I are going to get a chance to retreat from the world for a few days. And we certainly could use it. It's going to be a time of refreshment and fellowship. It is going to be an incredible time. And if you're not registered, once you register, it's all inclusive. You won't have to spend any more money once you get there. But it is going to be an incredible time. It's at the Billy Graham Training Center in Asheville, North Carolina, in the heart of the Smoky Mountains in October, which is the best time to be there because the colors are magnificent, as you can imagine. It is just it's an unbelievable place. My wife and I go there several times a year for different things, and we're both looking forward to being there and having fellowship with all of you. So I hope you're going to be there and register. I don't know what the situation is. It's not a huge place. It's not, it's not an auditorium of, 700 people or something. It's a very intimate setting. And Ruth Graham designed it that way very intentionally. And it is a small setting. And I don't know how much space we have left. I need to find that out, but it can't be too many. I know that. So check it out. Register. You can go to 800-950-2092 if you want to register. 800-950-2092 to register. If you want some more information or some more details, you can go to afr.net and just click on that AFA retreat banner right on the front page. And it'll give you some more information about it. The Cove, it's the AFA retreat, and we're going to have a great time. And I'll be there. Alex McFarland, Alex from Exploring the Word, will be speaking. Tim Wildman, the president of AFA, and Governor Mike Huckabee. J.J. Jasper, if you listen to the Inspo side, you all know J.J. from the morning show. He's going to be there and help us to laugh. We're going to have great times of worship. We're going to be worshiping probably 3 times a day. We're going to be singing praises and giving glory to the Lord. So it's going to be a great time. So I hope you'll be there. Well, let me go to the indices. The Dow's up 20, all the indices in positive territory. No real news. The 10-year yield had gone down a little bit yesterday. It looks like it is back up again. It's nearing 2.8. We could see the Treasury yields come down on unrest in the Middle East escalating by way of whatever it is we're going to do, whatever it is the president's going to do. When I say we don't really get much of a say in it because it's going to be something the president's going to do without going to Congress. He's not going to call a special session of Congress like the Democrats demanded President Bush to do. Actually, they didn't have to demand very, very strongly because President Bush was going to do that anyway because it's the right thing to do. This president is not likely to do that. So our representatives who I heard a rumor once in 1776 that they were supposed to be representing us. But I think that was just a rumor. But they won't get a chance. If they are supposed to represent us, they're not going to get a chance to have any say in it anyway. But that is going to create some changes in the markets, particularly the global economy that we all are so dependent upon that will impact this economy and these markets. I think the markets are a little bit excited right now because of the bad news of housing. I'm sure they're all hoping for bad job numbers next Friday. so that they can continue to buy. Traders, anyway, can continue to buy and try to make some money before the hatchet drops on the market. So anyway, that's what's happening. 866-300-9298, 866-300-9298. If you want to call and weigh in, let me go to Marilyn calling us from Mississippi. Hey, Marilyn.
Hi, it's Marion. And
Marion, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's Marion.
Thank
it
you.
has an odd spelling. Question: municipal bonds.
Yes, ma'am.
I saw something that they were federally tax free. Is that correct?
Municipal bonds are federally tax free, and depending on the state in which they are attached to. So, in your case, if they were a Mississippi state municipal bond, if they were, Lee County, something or other, sewage treatment,
right,
school bond fund or something, then they would also be state tax-free. But yes, they're federally tax-free. In other words, the income from those is not taxable income.
Is that a safe investment? My husband and I are retired.
Yeah, so here's what I would say to you. I don't feel real good about municipal bond funds based on the economy. Now, forget a bond. I said a municipal bond fund. So if it's a mutual fund, there's no question about it. I wouldn't want you to do it. But if they're individual bonds, in other words, you go and get a Mississippi State bond, an individual bond that is paying you, 3.5% interest. I still am not totally sold on that idea yet, but I would be better. I would feel a little more comfortable with that as opposed to a mutual fund, municipal mutual bond fund. I think bond funds and bonds in general are going to be very volatile on the downside. Now, having said that, if you're doing it strictly for the income and the fluctuation, the downside movement on the value, so you put $10,000 in, the bond market goes a little haywire, and your $10,000 is now worth, if you sold that bond, is now worth $7,000 or $5,000. You've lost a lot of value. But you did it for income, and you're still receiving the income. If you're okay with that, then it might be an okay investment if you understand the volatility. Because here's the idea. If you buy an individual municipal bond, and I would not suggest that you buy one that matures any further out than 5 or 6 years. If you're buying a municipal bond, then you don't really care because you did it for income and you don't care about the value. The reason you don't care is because when it matures, you're going to get your $10,000 back. In other words, so it doesn't matter if the day before it matures, you could only sell it for $5,000. It's irrelevant because the day it matures, you're going to get your $10,000 back. So if you buy a bond like that with the goal of holding it to maturity and doing it for income, then that's okay. Now, the only thing you have to worry about is the stability of the municipality or the state or the county or whatever you're investing in. And right now, I believe there's a lot of uncertainty in that because I think all these states, so many states, are in, bad financial situation. And if it's not a state bond and it's a county or municipality bond, their only recourse is to go to the state for help. And the state's recall is to go to the feds for help. Well, if the Fed does any kind of bailouts, it's going to go to the states, and the states are going to use it for their own bonds. It's not likely to trickle down to the municipalities and the school bonds and the sewage treatment bonds and all those kinds of things. So I think it's very, very volatile. There is still risk. There's definitely risk of loss, and you have to be aware of that. But if it's strictly an income thing and you can buy in individual bonds, not bond mutual funds, then I would be, after you consider all those things, that might not be a bad idea. The other thing that I would suggest to you, though, that when you think about income, you may want to consider some utility stocks. Again, they're going to be volatile too, but I would probably feel a little bit better about a utility that is in natural gas or oil or maybe a pipeline utilities or something like that. I would feel a little bit better about that because I don't think they're going anywhere. And, you can get a 3.5% to 4.5% dividend income from some of those stocks. And that may be a better situation. But keep in mind, there's still going to be stock market risk to that as well. So I don't know if that gives you any insights or helps you at all. But, you have any other questions or does that help you?
No, I have one more question.
Okay.
One thing is there taxes on the revenue that you get from the utilities? It is, right?
Yes.
It's taxed.
Yes, that would be taxed. That would be taxed. Okay. But
the other question is,
go ahead.
We have got our money that we've our 401ks and all this and IRAs right now. I hear you say that all the time, that's for be able to make sure nothing happens to it. Is that the safest place to put your money? So, not income, but just to put it,
just to put it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and you bring up a good question. The safety is not in a particular account. The safety is what you have it invested in that account. So if you have your money in an IRA account and then that money is in a bank CD or a money market account, then it's as safe as it would be if you withdrew it and put it over into the bank, into a money market account. It's in the same kind of thing. If you have it in an IRA and within that IRA account, it's in a stock, then it's going to stand just as much risk of loss as anything else. So so always keep in mind that it's not about the type of account. It's about the investment inside the account. Now, there's a lot of talk about, the government confiscating or taking over our 401ks and IRAs and our retirement accounts. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think it's more a fear for someone that has a federal, like a TSP program, than it is for private folks that have IRA accounts. But anything is possible in that regard. So, but I do like the idea of, taking out some of the money on a very regular basis out of your IRA accounts and move it over into a bank and into a bank account. And the only other thing that I hear you saying is, you're obviously concerned about taxes. And I would say to you, it's one of the things that I always try to help people get rid of. Don't worry about paying tax. There was a day I was managing about $800 million when I was, managing an awful lot of trust and back when I had a trust company. And I always told people that wanted me to manage their portfolios, I said, look, if you're worried about paying tax, you got the wrong guy. Because if I'm managing your money, you will pay tax. Because I'm going to take profits on stocks when I think it's time to. And we're going to move it over into something else. And when I take those profits, you got to pay tax on it. If that's something that if you really struggle with writing that check to the IRS, you need to find somebody else to manage your money because you're going to pay taxes. Because I believe sometimes that we get so hung up on paying tax that we miss out on so much. I'm not going to take my profit. I don't want to pay tax. Well, okay, wait until the profit turns to a loss and then you can sell it and you won't have to pay any tax. I mean, and that's usually what ends up happening. So, don't be concerned with tax because you're not going to avoid it. Remember, when you say, well, I don't want to pay tax, you're not avoiding it. You're just postponing it. Somebody's going to pay the tax. Maybe it's going to be your estate. At some point in time, you're going to have to pay the tax. And when you pay that tax, chances are at the rate we're going here in the country, it's going to be at a higher rate than it is this year. So don't allow that whole tax, that avoiding tax, to enter too much into the equation of what you do with your investment strategy. So I think that's important, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to tell you that. So to tell everybody that. It's an important issue. Most investment advisors and most folks are going to disagree with that theory, by the way, but that's kind of what I do. I go against the grain, and I've been doing it for a lot of years, and it's always worked well. So thank you for the call, folks. If you want to call in, 866-300-9298, 866-300-9298. All the major indices in positive territory. The Dow is moving at a pretty steady pace in positive territory. It's up 31 right now. The NASDAQ has a lot more ground to make up after yesterday, but that's up 14, and the S&P's up 4. So it looks like traders, I don't believe this is the general public, but it looks like traders are pretty happy right now. 866-300-9298. Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia, American Family Radio Network. We'll be right back after this.